All right, what's up, guys? My name is Rachel. So we have an awesome combined team call tonight, and I'm so pumped about. I was working on this presentation yesterday, and I was just reminded of how blessed we are as coaches by what we do. I don't know. Okay, show of hands, who has had an awesome, energizing day with day one of Morning Meltdown 100? Like, how incredible has it been to see so many people getting started on their health and fitness journey? It literally all day long, even though I had a really hard mom day, because for those of you who don't know me, I have two young kids. One of them has a sinus infection. It was a really hard mom day, but that launch today was like breathing life into my soul. So on the tail end of that, I am so excited to share with you. So I'm going to share my screen, and we will get started. So if everyone will make sure that they are muted, I did hope we have it set to where everyone is muted when they hop on, but if you do hop on late, just mute yourself. So my name is Rachel, and I am the leader of Team Restoration Nation. So some of you know me, some of you don't. Some of you are new coaches, some of you are seasoned coaches, and I hope that this presentation brings you value. You leave it feeling encouraged, excited, and feeling bold and brave in your business. I love interactive calls. So if you could be in the chat, saying, getting some amens in here, if you're loving it. Also, I'm going to ask you some questions as well as we go throughout the presentation. So make sure that you're, in there, because a couple things I need your help with. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rachel, and I lead Team Restoration Nation. I'm a 2-star diamond, and I work full-time as a health and fitness coach. I'm going to talk a little bit about my story here in a second. Everyone can make sure that they're muted. I'm just going to double check the participant list and make sure that everybody is muted. Here we go. All right, and if you hop on, make sure you mute yourself. So my name is Rachel, and I have been in the business for a little while, and I want to know, by show of hands, if you've ever had any of these thoughts, okay? So first thought, of course she's successful. She has had a huge transformation. Show of hands. Okay, I'm just going to sign up customers, and I'm going to run challenge groups because I don't have the time to run a team. Has anybody ever thought that? Or what about if I just had a business builder, I would get to diamond? Who has thought that or said that, right? Or why does everyone keep saying no? There must be something wrong with them. Or I keep inviting. It's not working though. I keep inviting, but it's just not. I'm not good at writing, so I can't really tell my story. So I'm going to mute everybody. Okay. So if you've ever felt or thought or said one of those things, this call is for you. All of those thoughts, all of those feelings are rooted in belief. And we're going to dive deep into what belief is in your business and how to grow that if you struggle with confidence or struggle with what you're sharing or how to share your story. And I'm going to share it from my perspective because when I started my Beachbody business, it was for one reason alone, and it was to hold me accountable to my health and fitness goals. I did not have this crazy dream of building a big business and leaving my job. I just wanted to get results. I wanted to stop quitting, and I wanted to help encourage a few people along the way. So I actually have been in this business it'll be 4 years next. Well, I've been in my health and fitness journey for 4 years next month. And I can remember my story includes, I was a size 4 when I got married. I married my sweetheart, and I got content and happy right away. And I switched from an active job to a sedentary job, and I ended up gaining almost 100 pounds. I was really depressed. I had lost my identity as a woman. My husband was a pastor, and so my identity was wrapped up in being a pastor's wife, and I was really struggling to navigate what was my purpose in this world. So naturally, my thought process was, well, I'll get pregnant. A baby's going to fix everything. I'm already overweight. I'll just get pregnant, and then I'll be happy. What turns out, at 6 months postpartum, I was more depressed than ever, miserable, to the point where my family was having an intervention with me because they were so concerned that something was wrong. I had this beautiful baby boy who was 6 months old, and I didn't want to get out of bed in the mornings. And so my cousin at the time she's still my cousin. But at the time, she was sharing her health and fitness journey, and she was inspiring other people, and she was doing a program called Size, which if you're familiar with it, it's dancing. If you watch my Insta stories today, I know I have no moves whatsoever, but I love to dance and I love a good beat, which is why being in the test group for Morning Meltdown was literally life-changing. But I thought, I can dance, I can sweat it out, I can do it if it's something fun like that, especially as someone who's super overweight. Lifting weights and cardio is really intimidating. So Size was a great starting place for me. Had no intention of doing coaching. She asked me at least 4 times. I told her no. She begged me to sign up as a coach for the discount, and I made her pay my coach business fee for 3 months because she wanted to hit Emerald. Like, I was your classic terrible coach, the kind of coach that you really don't want on your team because they're not really into what you're doing. I just loved the community, and I fell in love with the challenge group. And when I started sharing my journey on social media, it was solely for the purpose of holding myself accountable. It was not necessarily to build an income. But what has happened over the course of the last 3.5 years, I ultimately ended up leaving my job. After about 8 months, I went to a Super Saturday. So it's power of events. If you don't get to events, then there's something wrong. Events are life-changing. And I went to a Super Saturday. She forced me to go to a Super Saturday. And I went and I saw the big picture. I was in this room filled with dreamers, and I thought, I could do this. Like, why them and why not me? And so at that moment, it was January Super Saturday. I said, what have I got to lose? If I go all in and give it my all, worst case scenario, I come out the best, healthiest version of myself. Best case scenario, I come out and I get to be home with my babies. I was crying every day on the way to work. I had a 30-minute commute. I would cry on the way on this horrible traffic, on this awful highway. And I just was so determined to get out of my way and give myself the opportunity to actually grow and build a business. And so and I came home in 8 months. I'm going to talk about that a little bit and how I did that. But there are 4 areas that I really feel like are my strong suits. And I am someone who hits high success club numbers. I'm over 200 points right now for this month. I always hit above SC40 and up. Like, that's my jam. But I will tell you that I have made a shift in the last year from being someone who recruits challengers to being someone who helps people become leaders. And that happened by figuring out who I was talking to, who I wanted to attract, and who are actually my people. And some of my people are on this call. But my 4 superpowers, I feel like, have always been leading with my results. That has always been like my number 1. That's what I lead with. The second would be storytelling is my absolute jam. And I don't get tied up in the comparison game, and I don't believe in excuses. And we're going to break down each of those tonight, and hopefully you walk away with some tools in your tool belt of how you can apply that in your business in ways that helps you too. So let's think about the 4 vitals. So if you're a new coach here, we're going to briefly go over the 4 vitals to make sure that you know what that is. It is a basic overview of what our company's core beliefs are. So how do we actually grow a successful business? Number 1, we're proof of the product. We drink our shakes. We follow a program. We get results, and we lead. This is where I feel you lead from the front. When you lead with this, the rest of it becomes easy, because not only do you have the proof, you also have the credibility to back up what you're doing behind the scenes. Like light bulb moment. If you are following and doing the programs and being living, breathing proof, it is so easy for me to share my story when I eat, sleep, breathing everything Beachbody, because it ignites my fire. And so when I'm doing that and I'm being proof to the product, it's easy for me to share my journey. It was really hard in the test group because I was legally not allowed to say some things. So the second is inviting, connecting with people, inviting them to join you, following up with them to share that you care. The third is recognition, celebrating every victory with your team and clients. And then the fourth is personal development, strengthening and bettering yourself every single day. So I wanted to share some kind of behind the scenes, like over the course of the last 3 years, how my social media has evolved. Because being proof of the product, You do not know how to do that if you're an early coach. And even if that's something you struggle with, it's very easy to be like, I'm going to wait until I have the transformation and then I'm going to share everything all the time. You are literally like killing your business. That is the #1 death sentence. If you wait until you're where you want to be, your tribe is going to be so connected to you. They don't care about what you are offering. They don't care about the fact that it's Morning Meltdown. They want to sign up with you because they want you as their coach. So right here on the right, you'll see this is my very first sweaty selfie that I posted. I was already down about 25 pounds, but I was, as you can tell, I was still real puffy. And I did all the wrong things in this post. This was back in 2015. I talked about size. I talked about joint. If you're interested, ask me. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, but you know what I didn't wait on? I didn't wait to figure it out. I just said, I'm going to start throwing stuff at the wall, figuring out what works for my business, and learning from that process and not waiting. Look at that bottom right. Who is cringing right now looking at that? Rachel with the Shakeology cup, like, oh, here's my billboard. Notice there were like 8 people that liked it, and one of those was my mom, and one of those was my cousin. So that doesn't even count. So we all have to learn what works for us in our business. I also relate this to coaching. So at that bottom left, I made my first $200 check. I didn't wait till I was making $1,000 a month. I didn't wait until I was making a really good income, because truthfully, that did not come until this last year. And I spent 3 years building that, because unlike Ashley, I don't have an upline that has been actively building the business. She's getting back into it now, but over the last 3 years, I've been building alone. And so I didn't wait until I had the income to share. I'm getting off of my notes, but I just did it. So I lived, eat, breathe Beachbody, and I am proof of the product from start to finish. Now, I also went through a pregnancy like Ashley, and I was a coach at the time. And so a lot of people are like, how do you share your story when you're a coach and you're pregnant? Like, you're going to be gaining weight. People were so inspired by the fact that I was working out while I was pregnant. It literally, if they saw me working out and they were sitting on the couch, they had no excuse not to go get off their butt and go get their workout in. And so I actually found that helped me get in touch with my people that much more. And so I completed program after program after program, and from start to finish, hammer chisel, 21-day fix, 21-day fixes stream, on and on and on. And one thing that I have started to do in the last year specifically is I couldn't do it with Morning Meltdown, and it was hard because of legal reasons, but every Sunday night I followed Emily Flaver's method, and every Sunday night I posted an updated transformation, day 1 to day 7. Day 1 to day 14. I did it with Transform 20, and my business exploded throughout the process, not just at the 6-week mark when I completed the program. At week 2, they were like, holy freaking cow, you're working out 20 minutes a day and you're getting results like these in 2 weeks? Yes, sign me up. You cannot wait until the 100-day mark when you've completed Morning Meltdown and then you have results. Every phase you share that. Be proof of the product throughout this whole process. So that's bio behavior #1, and I really feel like that has helped me a lot. So I want to talk about inviting. Okay, I can't see everybody, and it's bothering me. Who here struggles with inviting? Yeah, can I get the show of hands a little bit? I can see a couple people. Okay, so here's the thing about inviting. And I used to struggle with this too, so don't feel like you're alone. Don't feel like you're like an alien. You're normal. Most people do struggle with this. Fear of inviting stems from belief. If you're afraid of inviting, you're either A, you don't believe passionately enough in the products, or B, you don't believe that what you are offering someone as their coach is valuable enough for them to need it. And so when you think of belief, it's trust, faith, or confidence in someone or something. So when you're inviting, you have to have that belief that fills your heart, that you know that no matter what they say back, you cannot hold someone else's destiny trapped in your mouth. One of my corporate reps told me that one time, and my team has heard it like 1,000 times, but it's so true. So why would I hold that trapped in my mouth? Sometimes we wait to invite until we have that perfect invite script. or you have that list to follow. Like, tell me what your invite looks like. There's no secret sauce. Our job is to be authentic and connect with people. If we're being authentic and connecting with people, when I see somebody pop up in my feed and for whatever reason that they put are on my heart, I pull up their profile and right then and there, I send them I'm not wait till I'm my power hour. Like, I send them an invite right then and there. Girl, I don't know why, but you're on my mind, and I've got this Killer 100-Day program that's totally changed my life. I don't know why I'm reaching out to you right now, but hey, would you be curious to learn more? Like, have you ever thought about this? It does not have to be complicated, but it's because I believe that when she goes to my profile and she looks at my story, that she's gonna see someone who cares, because I've been actively sharing my story the whole time. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So think about inviting like this. Your job as a coach is simple. Transfer your purpose, so your purpose as a coach, into passion, into optimism, into belief. So purpose is what we do as coaches. We're transferring that into passion. So think about the people on your, let's take Instagram, for example. Coaches on Instagram that you follow, my light just went out. Coaches on Instagram that you follow that inspire you. And I'm gonna tell you one right away. Allie Upham is someone that I absolutely love and adore. Her energy makes me wanna go jump around and work out. And I love that. So her passion, she's taking her purpose and transferring that into her passion. That's why we do what you do. That transfers into optimism. What is it going to do for your future? And that transfers into belief that anything is possible. So when you believe that anything is possible, it's not going to matter when someone tells you no. You're not going to get butt hurt because someone's ignored your share cart. You're not going to struggle because someone is having a bad day and your message just happened to pop up in their inbox at the wrong time. That's not on you. I had a client today who was getting all fussy because she couldn't figure out how to access her workouts, and she ended up apologizing to me later because she'd had a bad day and I was the one who got the brunt of it. It's not on us. So when you are focused and rooted in your belief of what we are doing as coaches, it will trickle over into every area of your business. And this becomes easy. It becomes less of a chore, but you have to stay rooted in that belief. Sorry, I'm passionate about that because it's so important. I cannot tell you, there's never been a season of my business that I did not believe 250% that I was in that moment for a purpose. And if you are not rooted in that and knowing that your why is driving you, your calling as a coach is driving you. And sometimes, here's what I face, and I don't know if Ashley faces this too. I struggle a little bit with coaches that are doing this on this side because they're not as connected. But your purpose is just as important as someone who is trying to leave their corporate job. You serve just as much of a purpose in changing somebody's life and helping someone become financially free and paying off debt and overcoming all of these things as someone who wants to leave their desk job. And so I want to challenge you, if that's you tonight, that you really look at that thought process and what is your belief rooted in? Because is that a confidence thing? Is that I'm not really confident that I either A, can do this, or B, that can I handle it with my schedule? Can I do this? So much of that is rooted in belief. So moving on to recognition and personal development. So we're just going to briefly touch on these. As a new coach, or when you're building a team, it's so easy to leave this vital behavior out because you don't have a team. Maybe you don't have very many clients, so you don't really feel like you need to do that vital behavior. But that's a discipline that you've got to create early on in your business, because we all want to be noticed for what we're doing. You know, truthfully, at the end of the day, we want someone to look at us and be like, Ashley, you're doing such a great job. You helped so many people today. I'm so proud. I'm so thankful that you're on our team. Or Paige, you crushed that workout this morning, girl. You nailed it. I'm so happy that you're a part of this group. How good does that make you feel? And so that's when you're practicing that recognition. It's not just about rank or success club or whatever. It's about making that person feel valued, that is in your crew and in your tribe. And that's really important. And I really do feel that that's a shift that I've made in the last year. I have said, okay, who's my people and how do I love them hard? And that has been my goal over the last year, and recognition is a piece of that, whether it's public or not. I want them to feel loved and valued. So the fourth one, and okay, so I'm going to confess something to you guys. My team knows this about me. I was anti-personal development for the first 2 years of my business. I thought I knew it, didn't need it, didn't have time for it. If I'm going to invite or do personal development, I'm going to invite, I'm just going to skip it. Personal development, I don't need it. I'm good. I've got confidence. I'm fine. I don't need it. Well, here's the thing. My second baby came along, and postpartum depression hit me like a freight train. I thought I was going to drown. And I was so overwhelmed, and I can promise you, if I was not a coach, I would not have survived that season, because being a coach pushed me to do personal development. And that's when I embraced, holy cow, personal development is vital, not just because it makes me feel good, but it becomes a lifeline. When I'm struggling with what to post, it's because I'm not doing personal development. I have nothing inspirational to say because I'm not filling my mind with anything inspirational either. And so personal development pulled me out of that fog. And so now, having been through that, I realize it is so crucial to find a personal development. It's going to shift over time. You might need something for confidence right now, belief in yourself right now. Down the road, you might need something for leadership. You might need something for habits. You might need something for organization. It changes over time. And I try to read one for business and one for personal, because both are really important. I also am an audiobook girl, so I listen to those like constantly all day long. So personal development is so key. All right, so how do we use the vital behaviors to build belief? So I'm gonna give you 5 action steps. And the first one is, I want you to analyze your page. I talked about earlier how I feel like telling my story is my superpower. And I truly believe, I was actually talking to a coach this morning about this, if you can figure out how to share your story, you hear that all the time in the network, but I think about Ashley Smith. She's someone, and Holly Hilliard, both of them are 2 coaches that I look up to so much in this business. Go to their page. They have figured out how to share their story. Holly shared a post today about, it was about high school, and it had nothing to do with necessarily her niche, but you got to the bottom of it, and she related it right back to her tribe, right back to her mamas, right back to the people that she was trying to connect with. A storyteller is who is successful in this business, from what I can tell. Does that mean that if you don't know how to tell your story, you won't be successful? No, don't use that as a limiting belief. But if you go back to that slide that I shared, I did not know how to share my story 3 years ago. I was not talking about like my deepest, darkest feelings and overcoming postpartum depression. I was just sharing. That's the first step. So analyze your page. Are you sharing your transformation pictures weekly, multiple times a week? When was the last time that you showed a before and current program completion picture? When was the last time you actually completed a program and said, this is my Transform 20 results? This is my morning meltdown first 28 days results. When was the last time you showed that progress? Ask your upline for an honest audit. Please do not ask if you don't actually want to have us tell you what we think. I have coaches who will come to me like, hey, Rachel, I feel like I'm doing a good job, but I just need you to look at my page and tell me what I can do better. Ask your upline to give you an audit of things that you can work on and improve on. I had a coach come to me this weekend, and she was like, Rachel, I'm struggling. My invites aren't getting anywhere. I'm not good. And I said, girl, you haven't posted since Thursday. You've been on your stories, but you haven't posted since Thursday. And she hadn't even thought about it. So that's what we're here. But you have to be honest about what you're sharing on your page. Realize that this is a skill that is learned and crafted, but deeply connected to the before and the now of every area of the business. So if you're deeply connected to what you felt like before Beachbody as a coach, as a challenger, in your relationships, in your mind, emotionally, how you handle conflict. There is literally 100 million ways that you can think about how your life should be different from before to now. If you're a new coach, you can, if you've been here for a week, you can talk about your 1 week experience of how this community has changed you. Don't Don't wait until you've been around for 3 months. Connecting to that before and that now puts you in a state of growth. So take initiative in learning. If you struggle with storytelling, girl, YouTube is going to be your best friend. Get your butt on YouTube and search how to tell my story Beachbody, or search how to get better engagement on Instagram. I heard Rachel Hollis say this one time, ignorance is a choice now with the internet. So you can take initiative. Don't wait for your upline to tell you how to tell your story. You figure that out. Go look for trainings to do that, but not until after you've done your power hour. Do your business activities first, and then listen to all the trainings in the world. So let's see, we talked about that. Overcoming inviter's block. Okay, so let's think about this for a second. So who here enjoys working out every single day? They get up and they're like, yes, I can't wait to do cardio. Cardio meltdown is so much fun. I love burpees. Okay, no one is gonna wake up and be excited about inviting every single day. You're not gonna be excited about eating a spinach salad every single day. But you know what? You're an adult and you're gonna put your big girl panties on and you're gonna say, look, if I'm serious about building a business, I'm gonna do the things. I may not understand why it's important right now. So that was me in the beginning. I didn't get why inviting was important. But you know what I did do? I trusted the people who knew better than me, who had been around long enough to see it successful. I said, okay, if XYZ coach is successful and I want to be successful and they're telling me to do this, well, dang it, I'm going to go do this. And so inviting was one of those things. You may not enjoy it every single day, but if all those coaches are doing it and saying that that leads to business growth, then we should do it too. Other things you can do is lead a challenge group that you're excited about. Morning Meltdown was so easy to invite to because we are all so pumped about Morning Meltdown. But here's the thing. You're excited about that challenge group, then you're excited to invite it. Recreate that every month. Maybe you run a free group that you're pumped about. Maybe you partner with another coach and run a kick butt like booty challenge. I don't know, whatever you're passionate about, you are finding ways to continue to stay excited about what you're inviting to. Don't get too caught up in the creation phase though. It's action that leads to results. So for me, I love pretty graphics. I love to make things all nice and cohesive. It's not a smart use of my time. So run with things that you're passionate about when it comes to inviting. Create a visual habit tracker to check off the daily and reward yourself with accomplishing your goals. The Success Club tracker, literally gold. That is your habit tracker. Just check off those suckers. It'll tell you all the things you need to do to be a successful coach. So the next thing is getting out of the comparison trap. And I see the chat going. I promise I'm going to check that in just a second. I love that you guys are in there. That's awesome. So let's talk about comparison for a second, because this is something that I made the decision early on in my business. I was not going to compare my business to anybody else's. And if you take my business and compare it to Ashley's, Ashley's done twice as much as I have in half the time, and that does not make me any less valuable. That does not make her any better than me. It just means that our businesses go at a different pace, and I'm having a heck of a great time building my team, and I know Ashley is having a heck of a great time building her team. So why in the heck would I get caught up in comparison and steal the joy from my business? It literally does nothing for you. There is no positive result that happens from comparison. I want you to think about this for a second. When you think of comparison, I pulled it up in the thesaurus. That's a hard word to say. The thesaurus, comparison, words that are similar to that: divide, scrutinize, separate, analyze, rival. Who wants that mess in our teams? That is going to kill us. That's going to kill your joy. Comparison creates division within a team. It encourages isolation. And when you start to compare yourself and your business to another, for most people, it instantly causes that turtle shell reaction. Anybody else react that way? When something gets hard or you face some kind of hiccup along the way, you're like, turtle shell, go back in my shell, because this is kind of like makes me feel weird in comparison, and she's doing this and I'm not doing this, so I'm just gonna turtle shell and just quietly like whisper into the shadows. And that is so not the emotion that we want to encourage in team growth. So when you retreat to your own thoughts, your doubts, your fears, instead of leaning into the team culture, you're robbing yourself of having others rally around you and being a part of a movement. It's never about if I will reach my goals. And I was telling Ashley this. I said, it's not that, it's never going to be an if I'm going to reach elite, if I'm going to reach 5-star, if I'm going to be successful in this business. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I'm going to reach all those goals, and I'm going to do all those things. And if it takes me a little bit longer than I had planned, so freaking what? Think about your clients who are doing Morning Meltdown 100. If it takes them 105 days to complete Morning Meltdown, does that mean they failed? No. So should they compare their day 101 and 102 to the people who completed it at the same time as everybody else? No. So we shouldn't do that in our businesses either. I committed to believing that this process works wholeheartedly, no strings attached. And so that meant that I had to get out of the comparison game and know if I am consistent, if I am authentic, and if I'm also relentless towards my goals, without allowing complacency to set into my business, that they will be achieved. So get out of that comparison trap. It creates division. Let me see where I'm at on my slides. Okay. So this was something that Ashley and I think both of us came home really quickly in our businesses from a financial standpoint. And I really feel that we have created something that I view as a no excuse mindset. So here's where I'm going to pull up the chat. So I want you to do one thing for me. Drop in the chat what your big, hairy, scary goal is. So I want you to go, what's your big, hairy, scary goal in this business? And drop it in the chat. Like if you could achieve anything you wanted, what would it be? Oh, I love this Ashley girl. She is awesome. She's blowing up this chat. I love it. Okay. Oh, retiring my husband. Yes. So I can't relate to that because I want my husband to not be able to like be out of the house, but being debt free, paying off student loans. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to have you guys do something weird. So hang tight with me. Okay. I want you to close your eyes. So everybody on the call, close your eyes. Okay. I want you to visualize that goal. I want you to think about being debt free. I'm just going to use that as an example. What would it feel like to walk down to the mailbox and pull out the mail and have the relief of not having a credit card bill? I want you to think about taking your family out to celebrate on a Friday night dinner because you paid off your credit card and that weight is no longer on your shoulders. How would it feel to look at your husband and say, I helped with this. We did this together. How would it feel? All right, you can open your eyes. I really want you to connect with that because that hairy, scary goal can be accomplished with enough belief and grit. But you gotta be good at that. You have to connect to the emotion behind that. So I'm gonna tell you mine. My hairy, scary goal is I want to be able to, okay, I'm not gonna cry. Jeez. All right, so my backstory is I've obviously already came home. I achieved that big, scary, hairy goal. My husband is really happy in his job. He's a youth pastor. He has no desire to come home, and quite really, I don't want him to come home. So my mama, my grandmother, she was in a nursing home, and my parents our family has always financially struggled. Growing up, finances were taboo. We never had any money. It was always bad. And so my mama and papa all got put into a nursing home that my mom didn't get to pick. They had to choose based off what Medicaid would cover. And so my mama actually passed away at the fault of the nursing home because the nursing home on Christmas Eve, she had dementia. She wandered outside and locked herself outside on Christmas Eve. And my mom all died that way. And I know that my mom has carried the weight of that burden forever. And they sued and won and all that stuff. But for me, as my coach, my hairy, scary goal now, I want our family to be financially stable enough that when it comes time for me to put my own parents in a nursing home, that either I have a house big enough that they can come live with me, or that I get to pick, because I don't ever want to face that same situation that my parents faced. And so do you see that emotion? Like, I am deeply connected to what I want to accomplish in this business, because I don't ever want to have to feel what my mom felt. I want to be able, and truthfully, out of all the siblings, I'm the only one that's going to accomplish this as of right now, because they're young. Oh, hopefully that will change. But I want you to think about that. When you have these hairy, scary goals, you have to connect, because it's going to take a lot of grit and a lot of no excuse mindset, because there's going to be a lot of days that you're going to be tired and a lot of days that you're not going to feel like it. And you have to dig your heels into the sand and take a stand for what you want, because you're deeply rooted in belief. So you believe you can accomplish anything, and that means that you have to put the work and the grit in order to do that. So we talked about our hairy, scary goals. So you have to remove the wiggle room for excuses of schedule and fear. Build that belief through personal development and start tackling areas of weakness head on. Do you struggle with organization? We're going to attack that in the face, and we're not going to use that as an excuse, because that was me for a little while. I struggled with organization and I attacked that. So here are some key pitfalls when creating this new no excuse mindset. You don't have a clear dream. So just helping people is not enough. If you are wanting to be financially successful in this business, just helping people, there's no vision. There's no clear picture. And actually, Ashley's going to talk about that next week, how to help set a clear vision. But what does your vision include 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year out? Do you have that written out and put somewhere that you see every single day? I have mine written on a whiteboard right here beside my desk, so that I see it every time that I sit down to work. So I have a clear vision of what I'm trying to accomplish at the end of this year. You don't, another pitfall, you don't relate to the coaches with big goals, like coming home to their kids. So you automatically devalue your own goals and don't set specific time frames for yourself. So maybe you just want to pay off debt. Maybe you just want to do X, Y, Z, and you don't want to leave your job. Well, if you don't set a goal and a time frame, you're devaluing your business. And that's not okay. You're selling yourself short, and your potential is so much bigger than that. You aren't doing personal development. That's another pitfall. I have a leaders chat going, and we just had a chitty chat about that this week, because that is a problem. If you're not doing personal development, you're not going to believe that you can accomplish these things. You're waiting for someone else. Here's another pitfall. You're waiting for someone else to tell you what to do. If I had waited for someone else to tell me what to do 3.5 years ago, I would still be working the job that I hated and arguing with Blue Cross Blue Shield all day. So I did not wait for somebody to tell me what to do. I didn't wait for somebody to tell me the invite. I didn't wait for somebody to tell me that we were going to run a challenge group. I didn't wait for somebody to tell me that we were going to run a free group. You take initiative and own your business. The last one is you are waiting until you have all the answers and know how to send the perfect invite or how to put the perfect transformation post up with the perfect wording and the perfect filter and everything before you take action. You have to have all the answers. You're not going to know everything. I've been in this business for 3.5 years, and I stay in a state of learning. I will never not be learning from other people, other coaches, people who inspire me, constantly staying a sponge. And I'm not waiting for someone else to tell me what to do in my business. So to wrap this up, when I realized that I could come home to my baby, there was no television show that mattered enough to me to keep me from that. I actually had a conversation in the car with some girls from Summit that went with me to Summit who are on my team, and they were like, have you ever watched this show? Have you ever watched this show? Have you ever watched this show? And I was like, no, I don't watch TV. You know why? Because I am hella inspired by this business and I want to crush it and help other people be successful. So I don't know when the last time, I actually swore to myself I would watch this season of The Bachelorette. You know what I didn't do? I worked and I didn't watch The Bachelorette because I had people to help and I had goals to reach. And that is the smallest sacrifice to make to build a business. Like, think about that. If you were debt free and your children didn't have to feel the strain of that each month, do you not think that a television show wouldn't be like an easy sacrifice to be able to meet that need? There are few people that are willing to sacrifice to achieve what their heart desires. The second that we stop thinking that it's easy work and that the easier it is to embrace the short-term seasons of grind to accomplish that bigger vision. This is such a short-term season of sacrifice. You're not going to ever stop working your Beachbody business. Like I don't know of coaches that just get to the top and just their business just stays there. I don't think that that's possible. You have to still be working your business. I could be wrong, but I don't know. But you are going to get to the point where you're not going to have to be in a state of grind that you are in the first few years of your business. And that's a good thing, but you have to put the time and effort in now and know that those seeds are going to grow and they're going to prosper, but it requires that sacrifice. So much of this business boils down to belief. And I want you to think about rating your belief in yourself and what you offer as a coach. What would your scorecard show? And if those things don't show a 5, if they can't say, I believe in myself 100%, I believe in this business 100%, then that's where you got to focus on creating knowledge. If you don't believe in Shakeology and think it's too expensive, research the crap out of it. Like, go understand Shakeology. Go understand Energize. If you don't believe in this compensation plan, go research it. Find people who are financially successful. Take the time to create that belief in what we have and what we are offering people. So the last thing I'm going to lead you with is the belief of the leader is the belief of the pack. And I think that's what has shifted in me this last year. I said, I am going to believe 500% in the vision of this team. And that belief is driving us to see the goals that we are wanting to accomplish accomplished. It's pushing us because that belief, the belief of the leader is the belief of the pack. It's my job to show my team what's possible, taking action before I figured it all out. And that's your job too, for your team, for your clients, for your challenge groups. Your job is to prove to them what can be accomplished because you inspire them and pave the way. The speed of your belief will be the speed of your pack. If I want my team to soar, I have to teach them how to fly and not try to be their wings. So lead by example, by unwaveringly devoted to your goals, staying in a constant state of reflection and growth, and 100% rooted in your belief. So that's all I've got, actually. Hopefully that was encouraging. I'll pull up the chat real quick.
Oh my gosh, Rachel, that is just amazing. Like, you hit every point that I feel like every coach needs, and it comes down, like, you know your why, and you'll put in the hustle and you'll put in the sacrifice to get there. Then yeah, the first couple years are grinding and work, but you know, I just think about that story that you told about your family, and if this hustle can help you have that never happen again, why not? And it's something you love, and it's so clear and evident that you're so passionate about it. And when you love it, that hustle it's fun.
You have to, and I do think that you have to stay committed through the first, I honestly would say 2 years. For me, in my experience, I know that our story is a little bit different, but for me, that first year, I didn't know what I was doing, and it was all work. It was like 100% work. And it really took till I get to that 2-year mark. And I haven't done my comparison financially, but my growth in my business, I'm going to go back and do a comparison from July's of the previous years. If I had quit when I didn't see the financial growth between July to July until this year, what was I missing out on? Like, you have to dig your heels in and know that that first 2 years is all about learning. And then eventually you start to figure it out. But you got to be here for the long haul. You got to develop that no excuse mindset and say, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm committed to doing it. And I'm committed to taking action. Sorry.
Absolutely. No, I agree completely. And like you said in the beginning, you didn't have it all right. Your posts weren't great. Guess what? That's the best time to do it before you have thousands and thousands of followers, you know? So in the beginning, play around with it and you'll learn as you go, just like you did. And like you said, you know, it's not if I'll hit this goal, it's when I'll hit it. And that belief and saying, why not me, is something I see in every top coach I speak with. And that's something every coach on this team can have. Whether you started yesterday, you started a year ago.
Yeah.
No, it's not when I'll get to it, or if I'll get to that goal, it's when will I.
Right. It's rooted in that belief. Like, that is you believing in yourself. I sat in the seats at Summit this year. I literally heard story after story, and I was like, I am them. That will be me. If I just keep my head down and I stay focused on my why, stay focused on what I believe in, that will be me. I will be on stage representing our team, hitting the lead. I will be speaking in front of thousands of people, even though that makes me want to barf. Like, I will hit those goals because I'm rooted in belief. So there's nothing different than me and every other coach on this team. There's nothing different in Ashley and every other coach on her team. Like, we are all the same. It's belief. That's the difference.
Absolutely.
Cool. I'm glad it was helpful. Okay, so next week, Ashley, does anybody have any questions before we go? Anyone want to blow up in the chat? Anything? Probably not. My team usually gets shy. Okay, so if we have none, then so next week, Ashley, you want to share what you're talking about next week?
Yeah, so next week we're going to come on, and I think this was a great platform to start this with, and we're going to talk about setting those goals. We're going to talk about how to put that structure in place so that you know what goals you need to reach today, what goals you need to reach tomorrow, all the way 5-10 years down the road. So we'll set that platform for you guys and help give you some tangible things to put into action to help you start building this belief.
Awesome. I'm so excited. So I've recorded this call. I'll make sure to send it to Ashley so you can share it with your team, but it's awesome. I really enjoyed it. We'll see you guys next week, 8:30, same time, same place.
Thank you. Bye, guys.